Millions believe the Bible or the Quran is the ultimate word of God, but what if what you've been told isn't the full story? Today, we're diving deep into history, examining the preservation of these sacred texts, and uncovering questions you've never been asked. Stay with us, because by the end, your understanding of faith, history, and truth may never be the same. I've always been curious about religious history and the claims people make. I started by asking, what language did Jesus speak? I learned that Jesus primarily spoke Aramaic and also knew Hebrew and likely some Greek. Then I wondered, is Aramaic a Muslim language? I discovered it isn't. Aramaic existed long before Islam. It was simply the language of Jesus and others in Judea at that time. I wanted to know the name of God in Aramaic. It's Allah or Elah, meaning simply God. Some Muslims claim that Allah is the same as Allah, the God in Islam. That confused me because Allah doesn't appear in the Bible. Yet Muslims insist it's the same God worshipped by Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. I asked, if Allah existed before Muhammad, why isn't the word in the Bible? I learned that Allah is the Arabic word for God. Pre-Islamic Arabs already used it to refer to a supreme God, even in polytheistic contexts. So Muhammad came later, receiving what Muslims believe is the final, true message from God. But historically, people were already calling a deity Allah without Muhammad. This led to more questions. If God sent prophets like Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, why are the messages different? Muslims say earlier scriptures were misinterpreted or altered, and the Quran restores the original message. Christians disagree and say the Bible is complete. Historians note that while minor textual variations exist in the Bible, the core message is preserved. I asked, how do Muslims know the earlier scriptures were changed if no one witnessed it? The answer is faith-based. The Quran claims this, and observed differences in texts are taken as evidence. But logically, no one could time travel to witness changes. I realized this could mean Muhammad used a familiar term, Allah, to present his own message while claiming continuity with earlier prophets. Then I wanted to know how the Quran came and who wrote it. Muslims believe it is the word of God, revealed to Muhammad by Gabriel. But Muhammad was illiterate, so he couldn't write it himself. His companions wrote parts of it during his lifetime, and it was fully compiled after his death under Caliph Uthman. Here's where it gets even more confusing. One man memorized over 6,000 verses over 23 years. I asked, how could he do this? How could one person memorize a whole book, not just a poem? Oral culture in Arabia was strong, but this still seems extraordinary. Even with companions helping, relying on one person's memory is risky. I questioned why Muhammad didn't have companions write everything down and read it back to him. That way, mistakes could be corrected. Instead, he recited verses to them, relying on them to memorize and later transmit the text. I realized that even this system is risky. What if mistakes happened? What if they said, "This is from Allah," to justify memory errors? From a historical perspective, relying solely on faith to claim perfect preservation is dangerous. Compare this to Jesus. His miracles were performed publicly in front of crowds with many witnesses. That is a different kind of evidence, something observable, not memorized by a few companions. I noticed a contradiction. Muslims claim the Bible was changed, but we do not have any surviving documents from Muhammad's lifetime to verify the Quran. Meanwhile, the Bible has thousands of manuscripts, like the Dead Sea Scrolls and early New Testament copies, which allow scholars to reconstruct the text reliably. Minor variations exist, but the core message is consistent. I asked, logically and historically, which text is better preserved? The Bible was written by many authors, in many places, over centuries. It has multiple independent manuscripts, which can be cross-checked. Its core message has been preserved, with minor variations. The Quran was memorized and later compiled, with few early manuscripts. Its preservation is extraordinary, but relies heavily on faith and the oral tradition. From a logical standpoint, the Bible is easier to verify historically. The Quran's preservation depends on believing Muhammad and his companions could perfectly memorize and transmit a massive text over decades. Even Muslim sources admit differences existed, which required standardization under Uthman. I also realized the Quran's oral memorization system itself implies Muhammad knew human memory is fallible. He relied on companions, repeated recitations, and gradual revelation to safeguard it. But this does not remove the historical risk of error. Faith claims divine assistance, but history cannot verify that. In conclusion, I see a clear distinction. The Bible, thousands of manuscripts, multiple witnesses, cross-verifiable, core message preserved historically. The Quran, one illiterate man, memorized over 23 years, compiled later, extraordinary preservation, claimed by faith, but less historically verifiable. Ultimately, from my perspective, it is inconsistent to claim the Bible was changed while asserting the Quran is perfectly preserved when we have historical evidence for the Bible and no surviving manuscripts directly from Muhammad's lifetime. Faith can justify the claim, but logic and history point to the Bible as more verifiably preserved. If you want to explore history and uncover the truth with me, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the story.